Ethan sat at the corner table of a cozy little cafe in downtown Seattle, nervously stirring his coffee for the third time. The waitress gave him a sympathetic smile as she passed by, clearly noticing that the seat across from him had been empty for almost an hour. He tried to look casual, but the truth was, he'd been stood up before, and it never hurt any less. His best friend had set him up on this blind date, insisting that the woman was perfect for him. Her name was Claire. A single mom, kind-hearted, someone who had been through a lot. He was supposed to meet her at 7. Now it was past 8. He was seconds away from asking for the check when the doorbell chimed, and a small voice echoed through the cafe. "Are you Mr. Ethan?" He turned around, confused. Standing there was a little girl, no more than 6, clutching a slightly wilted flower in one hand and a pink backpack in the other. Her big blue eyes scanned the room until they landed on him. "Yes, that's me," Ethan said gently, leaning forward. She smiled shyly and approached his table. "My mommy's sorry she's late," she said, her tiny voice trembling just a little. "She said her car broke down, but she didn't want you to think she forgot." The cafe went quiet for a moment. Ethan blinked, trying to process what was happening. The little girl placed the flower on the table. "She told me to give you this, and to tell you she'll be here soon." Ethan smiled, his heart softening instantly. "Thank you," he said, pulling out the chair next to him. "Would you like to sit while we wait?" She nodded, climbing into the chair with a seriousness that made him grin. "You can call me Lily," she said, swinging her legs beneath the table. "Do you like pancakes?" "Mommy says they fix everything." He laughed. "I like pancakes. How about you?" "Extra syrup," she replied with a grin, and for the first time that evening, Ethan felt the tension in his chest ease. They talked about her school, her favorite cartoon, and her cat named Whiskerstein. Time passed easily, and soon the empty table that had felt so lonely began to feel full. People around them were smiling at the sight, a man and a little girl sharing laughter over a cup of cocoa and pancakes. Nearly 40 minutes later, the door opened again. A woman rushed in, her face flushed, her hair a little wind-blown. She looked exhausted, yet beautiful in a way that wasn't about makeup or clothes. It was the warmth in her eyes when they landed on her daughter. "Lily!" she called, rushing over. "Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry." Lily jumped up and hugged her mom. "It's okay, Mommy." Mr. Ethan waited. "We had pancakes." Claire turned to him, her voice soft but embarrassed. "I can't believe this. My car wouldn't start, and I didn't have your number. I didn't mean to send her in alone, but she insisted." Ethan smiled, standing up. "No harm done. I think she handled the introduction better than most adults." Claire laughed, the tension easing from her face. "She's quite the little diplomat." The waitress brought over another cup of coffee and a fresh plate of pancakes, and the three of them ended up sitting together. Conversation flowed naturally, like they weren't strangers at all. Ethan found himself drawn not just to Claire's kindness, but to the quiet strength she carried. At one point, Lily leaned against her mother's arm, half asleep, syrup on her cheek. Claire looked at Ethan and whispered, "You didn't have to stay. Most people would have left." He looked at her, smiling softly. "Most people don't send an ambassador with a flower and pancakes." She laughed, a sound that made something inside him warm. Outside, rain started to fall softly against the windows, and for a moment the world felt still, like something good had quietly begun. When they finally stood to leave, Lily waved at the waitress and then at Ethan. "Bye, Mr. Ethan. Mommy says maybe you can have pancakes with us again." Ethan glanced at Claire. She smiled, a hint of pink on her cheeks. "If you'd like to," she said. He nodded, slipping his jacket on. "I'd like that very much." As they stepped out into the night, the neon cafe sign glowed behind them. The rain shimmered on the pavement, and Ethan realized that sometimes the best things in life don't start perfectly. They start with an empty chair, a late arrival, and a little girl who believes pancakes can fix anything.